Working on this precision blading, and so I told Jesse, I said when I was an assistant pro, I won. It turned out to be about $150 from 3 different guys. I bet these guys that I could drive a par 4 green in 2 shots with my lob wedge, and so worked on figuring out how do you blade a lob wedge 200 yards or more, right? So I'm going to try it right now and see if I can't top it. So that'll probably roll out like 230-ish. But anyway, the reason why we were talking about that was because there's times where you might actually use that shot, and then there's being able to control your body so precisely to hit that right on the corner. So it's not an easy thing to blade it every time and hit it straight, but that just tells you that you're doing a really good job with your body. So it's asking yourself to do something more, right, than just hit a normal golf shot. Because your golf club is perfectly designed for you to hit great golf shots all the time. I hate to tell you that golf is really easy, right? But the reason why I tell you that is because I want you to set the bar higher. So that's what Jesse and I were working on the other day, was being really precise. So there may be a shot that you might actually have to hit. Sometimes out here in the desert, the branches of the trees lay like this. These little scraggly bushes will lay like that, and your ball might actually end up right underneath it. The only way to get underneath it might be to hit a wedge like this and take that club and kind of like slide it underneath the corner of the bush, and then you might also have to hit it 200 yards down the fairway. So if you figured out how to hit your wedge, it'll fit in that space, and then you might get the result. So you may have to skip it across a pond, and you can actually skip it better by blading your wedge, depending on the lie. Sometimes you have to hit a little tiny chip shot out of the rough, and instead of putting it with your putter, you'll take the bottom edge of the wedge and you'll just kind of tap it into the back of the ball, and it will roll. It's called a bellied wedge. The ball is like a belly, and you're taking the wedge and you put it in the belly of the ball, so it rolls like a putt. So that's a purposeful shot that you'll hit around the greens is a bellied wedge, right? And then what we were just working on just now is being able to basically belly the wedge with a full swing. Try to get it to roll as far as you can. So it becomes a precise shot versus a bad shot, because you're doing it on purpose, right? So what I wanted to do was just talk about how to, for both of you guys, what we're working on is we started right from the scratch, right from step 1 with your golf swings, and the rotary swing that we're working on, this roundhouse swing, is always going to produce better shots for you. So what I wanted to do real quick is just hit a shot and go through the steps, right? So one of the things that is key to this concept is understanding that you're spinning, you're moving like a helicopter. So if I put my arms out like this and I spin back and forth, this shaft, if I left it there, this one would slam directly into that one, right? So it's you're spinning. You're using your hips and your body to spin. You're not going like this. You're not going back and then through, and then you're not using your arms. You're using your shoulders to spin. So taking the club, putting it across your shoulders, setting it down in front, and spinning so that the shaft points down, not exactly at the ball, but close to it, and then spinning to the other side. Now, symmetry is very important, so being symmetrical is key. You don't have to stack directly up on top of that line. You don't have to spin and get that shaft on top and then spin back this way, because that looks weird. And you go you kind of spin backwards like this. It's not accurate, it's not correct. You want to use your hips to spin over to the right which puts the club back here by your right leg. And then when you come through, you spin over onto the left side. Right? What's key is that as you're spinning, you're not spinning angled down on the backswing and then standing up. You don't want to come up this way. You want to make sure that you stay down on that angle, right? So it's very, very simple move, but it requires the same high level of focus, the same high level of concentration, and dedication and determination to stick to it, right? Because when you step up over it, you're gonna take your stance, you're gonna spin, and you might hit a shot like this, right? And you think, oh no, I did all kinds of things wrong to produce that, but you only were wrong by this far. So when you're hitting the next shot, you're not going to do anything any differently. You're just going to make sure you keep your posture down a little bit better. So if you set up and now you're down in this position and you do the same exact spin, but you kept your posture down, now you get a nice strike on the ball, right? So it's discipline to doing the same thing over and over again. So as we go through this academy and university program, sometimes it's going to be hard to hear your coaches tell you the exact same thing over and over again, right? You're going to say, well, I hit it right. And they're going to say, well, spin better. And then you're going to say, I hit it left. And they're going to say, spin better, right? I duffed it, spin better. So I want to make sure you guys are on the same page with us. You're supposed to be working on these key things. But what makes it really fun is that you set your precision level really high, right? So don't just take it for granted, because if you spin and you're kind of a little bit sloppy with that spin and it's not precise, well then yeah, you're not going to hit any good shots. If you are precise with your spin, then you can start getting a repetitive pattern, okay? When you attach the club to the spin, it's super important to be able to control ball flow, right? So if I take my club and I attach the club to the spin and I attach it wide open like this, so it's pointed straight out to the right, and I take my setup and then I spin to the right and left, the ball shoots off high to the right. What did I do wrong? I didn't do really anything wrong other than just setting my club face too far to the right if that wasn't what I was trying to do. Same thing happens if I set up and I take my club face and I attach it straight to the left. And then if I take my setup and I spin right and spin left and I get this low hook to the left, this motor, the spinning motor, did exactly what it was supposed to do. This attachment did exactly what it was supposed to do. If it doesn't come out the way you want, then you got to fix the attachment. You guys follow me on that? So that's what we're working on. So the sabers that you guys have, taking that saber, putting it across your shoulders, making these spinning moves, trying to make sure that your head stays still and your feet stay still so that you're not coming up and losing all these angles. That's going to be really important. So whenever you come out to warm up, you guys know the routine. You're supposed to take the saber out, put it on your shoulders, right? Start with it here, make these spinning moves first. You know, do 20 to 50 of these spin moves. And then you take the saber and you set it out in front of you. Do you have one in your bag? No. You got one, Kayla? Right, so you take it, put it across here, you're making these spin moves, right? Then you take the light end, put it down, you're gonna make several spin moves again, keeping your feet down. See, this exercise is not just coordination, but it's understanding physics, right? So it's understanding, it's called ground forces, and it's called understanding your connection to the surface you're standing on. if you let your feet move up and down, you actually don't have the force that you need, right? So Jesse, come on over here. Right, so if you're to stand right here, right, face that way, take your hands and put them together in front of you and take a stance like this, right, and then push, get a good stance and push against my hand, right? Do it again, right? Now take that foot and bring it up on the toe. Yep, and then right there, and then push. Right, so you don't have the same connection to the ground. Put that foot down again. Now push. Right. So as you're connected, what he's able to do is use his hips because they're connected to the ground. If this foot's up in the ground, up in the air, now you're only using the power that you have in that one big toe to push off of. Whereas if you have your feet flat on the ground, now you're using your connection to the ground to be able to push off of, right? All right, so you can go back over there. So then, after you've done your spin with the light hand, then you do the same thing with the heavy hand. Right? So now you're actually kind of training and exercising and strengthening. If you don't keep that foot down, your hips, they don't learn to get stronger. Your core doesn't learn to get stronger. Your hips and your glutes and your hip flexors, they don't learn to stay flexible. So every time you make these swings, you're getting more and more flexible, right? What you guys should be able to see with the saber, go ahead and stand right back there by that camera. Kayla, going over there. Right, so here, take a club. Jesse, take a club. And Kayla, go back over here. Now I'm going to go like this. And I want you to take that club and I want you to go like this and use it as a sight line and match it up to my backswing. So you're just going to stand like this. Right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to freeze. And I want you to match it up. You guys got it? Right? So when I go to the other side, does it match up again? So if I just go back and forth like this, see how the shaft pops up right here? And then when you spin, it pops up on the same place on the other side. So you see that, Kayla? Right? So that's symmetry. And then if I do it on this way, and I spin to the right, it's over on this side of my body. If I spin to the left, it's the same location, just on the other side. Right? So if I was a right-handed golfer, my backswing would look like that. If I was a left-handed golfer, my follow-through would look like that. So as I make a backswing as a left-handed golfer, that's my left-handed backswing. But then this would be my right-handed follow-through. Right? It's like an optical illusion. So if I just spin my hips and my shoulders back and forth, it should go to the same place. And it wouldn't matter if I was right-handed or left-handed. All right? So for both of you guys, come on over here. So for both of you guys, the main thing that you want to be working on is building that motor. Okay? So if you can build a really strong, intentional, focused, precise motor, whatever you attach to the motor is going to be great. And then you can see repetition, you'll see the ball flight, you'll be able to control it. And then all you have to do is turn the motor fast or turn it down slowly. So if you want to hit a little chip shot, you just move the motor slowly. You want to hit a really long drive, you just move the motor quickly. Got it? Right? So I'm going to take this video for you guys, I'm going to post it so that you guys can watch it and remember how to do it. And then your coaches have also seen it, so they'll be able to encourage you and coach you to make sure you're doing the same thing. Part of preparation and process and practice is boring. But if you do really good at process and preparation, you get trophies, and that's not boring. Right? You win stuff. You can actually see results. You actually produce good results, and you feel like, hey, all the work that I put in was worth it, right? Trophies is not the be all and end all, but what is really important is sticking with the process, sticking with what you're supposed to be working on, right? Because you guys have aspirations of playing in college. I would challenge you to have aspirations beyond that, and not just worry about college, but what about PGA Tour? What about LPGA Tour, right? So if you're really focused on what you're doing, all those steps will take care of themselves. You don't have to worry about the result. You just focus on doing this part, learning how to get really precise, and then you'll achieve those goals. Cool. So let me watch you hit some balls.